Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Blu-ray Hunter. I'm the Blu-ray Hunter, Jonathan Moody, and we have a fun show for you guys. Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah, Christmas falls on a Monday, and Mondays I generally do movie reviews. So figured let's do a Christmas themed one, and I watched Jingle All the Way. So Jingle All the Way, if you weren't aware, is a 1996 film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as this dad who is business obsessed. It's interesting because like maybe a year later or so, or around the same time, they made Liar Liar, and it was a somewhat similar thing with the dad and the son. The dad being like business obsessed, and at the end of it, he has to sort of realize, how much he cares about his kid and how his kid should come first instead of his work and all this other stuff. So it's kind of very similar to that. But he's not a lawyer. He's this I don't even really know what he is. All I know is he tells everybody they're his favorite customer. That's one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie. He's like, "You're my favorite customer. Remember, you're my favorite customer." And then he says it to his wife, played by Rita Wilson, who you might know as I do believe she is Tom Hanks's wife, which is funny. I never thought about it, but let me make sure of that because of one thing, because I want to make a joke. And I'm sure it's been joked before. If this is true, I cannot be the first person to think about this. Yep. So she's married to Tom Hanks, and so he was missing his Wilson, or whatever. So that's kind of funny that her last name is Wilson, and that was what he was constantly trying. Wilson in Castaway. Anyway, it's just so stupid. Anyway, she's with Phil Hartman. Rest in peace, Phil Hartman. I really miss him. I thought he was so funny. And it's tragic what happened to him. And then and he is such a douche in this movie. He has all it's so funny. It's one of those characters where he has all these women who just want him. He's kind of like Gaston, and even though he doesn't look that great, or whatever, he looks like Phil Hartman, like he looks like kind of your everyday person. He doesn't look like like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, but Beauty and the Beast, in Beauty and the Beast, Gaston, I think that was his name, the jerk character wanted the only person he wanted was the person he couldn't have. And that was sort of this thing here is like everybody, all these women are just sort of like flirting with them and kind of asking him for favors and all this stuff. And then, and he's all concerned with the woman who is married. And I mean, it's pretty happily married. There's issues, but it's nothing that will cause a divorce. But this dude is literally trying to do anything he can to like kind of get in between them. And I'm like, you're gonna pick the dude who's like like freaking huge and looks like an action star to like be, I would not, in real life, I think Schwarzenegger is married to Maria Shriver. I would not mess with Maria Shriver. Like I would, because I would get killed by freaking Schwarzenegger, Arnold. So it was so stupid. There's even a sad line in this movie where the Phil Hartman's kid in the movie says to the other kid, your dad should get divorced to your mom. It worked wonders for me." And I'm like, "What?" That's like, wow. It got really dark quickly. By the way, I do want to mention that I watched the extended cut of this. I think I'll mention it in the title and everything. I watched the extended cut, and I totally had never seen the extended cut. So there are a couple of scenes that I was like, okay, that's an added scene, or I don't remember that line necessarily. And there was a couple lines where it looked like they cut it out just to be more family friendly and everything. So this extended cut, which I don't know if the extended cut is rated or not, has a little bit more stuff that's not. My favorite one was the mall Santas get a little bit more time and they sing a song. And I was like, wait, I don't remember that. So anyway, the story of the movie, if you haven't seen it, is basically Arnold Schwarzenegger is a father who is kind of an absentee father. He's working so much. And then when he comes, he misses his son's karate class and then his son tells him basically that he wants his Turbo Man doll, and Turbo Man is like the big toy that every kid wants. If you're, as he kind of explains it, if you don't have one when you get home, or get to school after Christmas, you're gonna be like this big loser. And I remember that. Like I remember everybody always, and I was never one of those guys who just begged my parents for like the coolest toy. I think my parents always knew what I wanted, or whatever. Maybe I'd ask for it or I'd mention something and they would go and get it for me and stuff. So I was very spoiled as a kid. Um, but yeah. So anyway, I end up I can relate to this movie a lot. I don't know how it is these days. It's really weird. I don't feel like the marketing is the same because the internet and everything. So I think there's no like everything is the cool thing. If you get anything, you're the cool kid at school, or whatever. The kid might be like, "Hey, did you get this doll, this toy?" And then they'll be like, "No, but I got this toy." You know, that's the kind of thing nowadays. So I don't think it really matters as much. So go back. So he has not gone and got it. Like apparently two weeks ago, his wife had asked him to go get it, and because he totally forgot or whatever about Christmas, I don't know about. It's like 2 weeks, 2 weeks before Christmas Eve, like, and he didn't get the toy. Like that just like I understand like last minute shopping, but good God. So when he goes to get it, of course, it's all sold out, and he goes on this like adventure, and he's in one of the other extended scenes and starred Yeardley Smith. Oh, I love her, the girl who does Lisa in The Simpsons. She is so fucking funny, and she is in the movie. She plays this woman. He sees a woman with a fur coat, so he runs after her, and he stops her, and he says, I'll pay you for any. Well, at first she thinks he's hitting on her. So she's like, "Oh, you want my number?" And he's like, "No, I want what's in your bag. I'll pay double for it and stuff, or triple for it." And she's like, "Well, that kind of money, sure, here you go." And I knew right then there can be the doll because like obviously that's the most sought after toy. Nobody's gonna just do it for that much. And of course it's Booster, which is the apparently all the kids and parents, everybody hates Booster. And I'm like, okay, so he throws Booster away. I would have still kept it. I would have been like, but I'm glad he didn't because like it becomes later that he like I don't know if they did that as like a reshoot of him throwing it away because like later he doesn't have it. So it didn't matter. But he did not want Booster. He wanted Turbo Man. So later Turbo Man is going to be on a parade, and when it's at the parade, he's running from the cop. This cop he keeps running into this mailman played by Sinbad. And Sinbad sort of becomes a villain in the movie. He becomes the so it's in it all kind of works out like movie magic, like movie stuff, like this would never, none of this would ever happen in real life, which I would hope not, because some of the stuff, like the ending of the movie, gets very, very sort of crazy and almost violent and kind of scary for the kid. So I'll talk about the ending. So the ending of the movie, the third act or whatever, he realizes he hasn't kept his promises. That's what the son has said. You never keep your promises. So he had promised that he would be at the parade. So he's like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that parade. So he does. and somehow or another he kind of pisses off a cop that's been sort of following him around this whole freaking excavation, like the whole, Christmas Eve. Like he just keeps running into this cop, and so he gets chased up into a place, and they are setting up for Turbo Man, and I guess the Turbo Man that's supposed to come last minute is late, so they think it's him. So they just start putting all the stuff on him and sending him out into the parade with Booster. And he's all excited. He's waving to all the people. Everything's seems to be going pretty good. And then we see behind the scenes that apparently uh, the evil Dementor or whatever is going to attack, and that gets taken over by Sinbad. Sinbad becomes the evil Dementor, so it's almost like their final battle to try to get that toy, you know? And throughout it, like he has a jetpack that like works, and it just becomes like a cartoon. And pretty much a lot of the movie becomes like a cartoon at the end because of the idea of this TV show that or movie or whatever and toy action figure that they all like. Turbo Man. It's turbo time. Um, so yeah, it gets really sort of violent, and like the kid gets picked to get the toy, and then Dementor comes and tries to steal it from the kid, and through all of it, and the kid's like running up these big, huge, you know, uh, up these big tall buildings, and is about to fall, and literally if he hadn't been there, the kid would have died and would have been smushed. But it's a cartoon, so Turbo Man comes and saves the day, and and brings him to this mom, and then announces it's the dad all this time, and he's Turbo Man, and his son just like loves that, thinks, oh my God, you're Turbo Man. I enjoy that. So like he ends up um giving the toy to Sinbad, who tried to steal it because he wants to give it, he wants to have the for his son. He just wanted to do all of his stuff for his son, and so Arnold Schwarzenegger's son gives the toy to him and says, I don't need it. I've got the real Turbo Man at home, which is like one of the first times I've ever seen a movie like that where the kid actually gave up the toy. So the toy at the end of the day, um, sort of didn't matter because he was happy just to be with his dad. And I thought that was the freaking sweetest ending. That was just delightful. Um, it's a heartwarming movie, which is so funny because most of the time it gets really weird. There's a point where he's chasing was it Arnold Schwarzenegger's chasing this ball, and it goes into this kid's hand, and the kid's going up the stuff, and instead of going and explaining to the mother what's going on, and says, I accidentally dropped my ball and she picked it up, can you get it for me? He's trying to steal the ball from the kid, and everybody thinks he's trying to touch the kid or something. It gets really weird, and I was like, this is 90s family film. Like it felt a little weird to be watching this stuff now. I don't know. I think times have definitely changed for that. Some people may not think that's a problem, but I thought that was a little weird that they put that stuff in there as jokes. Like I didn't really find it necessarily funny. Um, but aside from that, I really did enjoy this film. I think it was very funny. It's a movie that honestly I can't watch other than around Christmas time, but it's one of those movies that probably around Christmas time I'll definitely watch again. So I watched it on Blu-ray. Like I said, it's got the extended cut and the regular cut in it. And then it's got some like featurettes and stuff like that. So definitely worth having the Blu-ray. Would I ever upgrade it to a 4K? Maybe. Um, some of the shots do seem really cool. Like I would like to see them in 4K, but I mean some of it is action scenes. I did like the mall Santa stuff. They get into this huge fight and everything. So it really shows Schwarzenegger as an action star again. Like they couldn't have made him do a regular comedy at that point. They had to make him do action with the comedy. And he ended up becoming Turbo Man, and I was like, man, I wonder if they would spin that off and actually market that. Let's make Turbo Man the movie, so kids who watch this movie wouldn't, I'm not sure if this really did that well in the box office or not, but it is a movie that like if it's on TV or I want to pick it up from I'm just in the mood for it in Christmas time, I'll watch it. I was very happy to see it again. So with that being said, I think that's really it. Look, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed all the performances. The kid in it, I believe, is Jake Lloyd, and Jake Lloyd was the kid that played Anakin in in the Phantom Menace, and he's close to the same age as he was as Anakin because I think they shot that movie 98, I want to say. It's 97, 98, something like that, because it came out in 99. So I think it was he was like a couple years younger. And so he in in this one he's pretty good. There's there's a couple little bits that just were like a little overacting for a kid, but that seems natural for a kid, so I didn't really even seem to mind it. I honestly would have preferred the kid from Liar Liar. I liked him. I've liked him as a actor a little bit better, but the kid from, Jake Lloyd, he was pretty good in this. All in all, I think all the actors did a splendid job. Side actors, like characters like Chris Parnell appears. So you can tell this had like almost Saturday Night Live feel to it because like Phil Hartman was in it. Chris Parnell had a part. I think there was other people in it too, if I'm correct. Like Lorraine Newman might have had a part in it. So like there were people in this movie that sort of were around and whatnot from Saturday Night Live. Uh but I feel like it needed that. I know there's a sequel and I didn't watch the sequel. Sequel sounded really sad. I need to just try to watch it because even if I don't like it, at least I can say I watched it, and whatnot. But eh, like it this doesn't feel like a movie that needs a sequel necessarily. And the only way I think that there could be like a spin-off or sequels if Turbo Man got his own show or movie, which could have been cool. There's like some really cool stuff in there. But yeah, I don't know. It was a fun, enjoyable movie. If you want a cute kids, holiday movie to watch during Christmas, this is it. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know. Is it available anywhere? Because I think if anything, it might not be available for anything but yeah, let's see. It's 20th Century Fox. Is it on Disney Plus? That's the I don't know why IMDb does this, and I am so fucking I don't know if this is on Disney or IMDb itself, but they don't show you at the top if it's on Disney Plus. Yeah, so it is both Jingle All the Way and Jingle All the Way 2 is on Disney Plus. If you just want to watch it, you don't own it already. But I would definitely seek out the extended cut on Blu-ray because it's definitely worth it. And once again, I'll probably buy it on 4K someday, but I don't know. It's just because it's one of those movies I do watch, on around Christmas time. It's just a feel-good family movie, like something like I could watch and just to sit back and enjoy. It just makes me feel good. So thank you guys for checking this out. Join me next week for a brand new movie review. It'll be the new year. So what am I reviewing for the new year? Find out. Until then, everybody, bye.